we want to give a thank you to our sponsor, Blackfriar Pub, and Michael Kim for supporting this show, because this is the way that we get our hands on the All 22 film that we're about to jump into right now. The other thing I want to mention is that we are going to start doing this thing called Fan of the Week. So if you're watching this recorded, what I want you to do is leave a comment on the video, not a chat for people who are in here right now, not a chat. Leave a comment down below on the video of what you think the score differential is going to be for this game and what you think the total number of points scored are as a tiebreaker, because the winner closest, and it's not Price is Right rules. So it's just the closest on the score differential. And if we have a tie, it'll go to total points, will be one of our fans of the week. And the prize that you get is to be able to pick a play from either this game or the scout film from our next game for us to break down live on the show for you. So remember that as we get into our film today.
Yes, sir. We're going to go a little defense first, like we're supposed to be. So if you're the head coach, JT, and you're getting ready to flip the coin, are you deferring? Are you taking the ball? What are you going to do?
I typically I would just defer because I want the ball in the second half. I like the idea of possibly scoring before halftime and then coming out and scoring again.
Yep.
However, there are some times where I feel like, maybe depending on how things have gone, you just need to go ahead and take the ball and try to set the tone. But typically I like to defer. Okay. And actually, I don't even know why. In that case, I still don't really know why we defer. Why not just kick and just, or is that not the option? Because they still get if I say kick, they can choose to receive. Is that what you're telling me?
No, because then they can choose second half, so they're going to get the ball twice.
I see. Well, how's this even an option?
Or they can pick which end of the field. So if you kick, they can say which end of the field do you want to receive the kick from, or do you want the ball in the second half?
This is unnecessarily complicated.
I know. That's why they don't always let your players pick, because someone throws it up wrong. Yeah. They've already asked the coach, hey, what is it that you want? Okay. All right, so we want to talk about this play. You guys need to make sure we're tuning in. I think we got 6 plays on this. Might look like 12 because we got the end zone.
Yeah, there's 6 on this one.
There's 6. So I think JT and I kind of picked the same plays, but we want to talk through a couple things. So let me make sure that you guys understand what's going on with the personnel here. So while I was looking at this, I thought there was a few people that we need to highlight. They're pretty good all around the board, but they're number 24. I think you say his name. I don't know if it's Malachi
Starks.
Malachi Starks. Pretty good dude. He's always up around the ball, safety type guy, but he's active, right? The nose tackle, big old dude, number 78, Nazir Stackhouse. We'll make sure we're pointing at him and looking at him, and then also their will linebacker. Shmiel, I don't know. You guys, man, y'all mess me up with the way you spell these names. Smeal. What is that? Minden. All right, number 2. So 24-78, number 2 are a lot of the guys are going to be pointing out. So on this first play right here, JT, I actually thought it was interesting how number 2 and number 24 switched responsibilities right there. So I don't know if you can actually see the guy on the hash mark, who is a linebacker, who basically runs out of there to the defense, to the middle third, and the safety behind him.
Oh, you talking about here?
Behind him, drops down into the box. I don't know why. Now, I'm saying that because we got to make sure that Jalen Miro's going to have to know what's really happening here. Because you got guys off the edge, you got linebackers that are running out to be spot players. That's one piece I thought was interesting on this, because it's different. I don't know. It's unique. I like it, but I know it could be confusing. right? The second piece of that display is quarterback gets out of there, runs up the field, and Jalen Milroe's a better runner than them. So I'm sure as a defensive coordinator, you always talk about don't run past a quarterback like this when you're blitzing off the edge. So it may create some running lanes if they're not sound in the way that they rush Milroe. Do you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I kind of figured this is why you had picked this clip. Now, kind of looks like they're playing a little bit of eyes technique here, just because this is a hot pressure. They're sitting 6, which I guess is nice. I mean, they pick it up, which is great. So that's a good job by the back, giving the quarterback time to get out of here. But I wonder if you're going to see this kind of thing against Alabama, because I guess you're going to have Starks here spy, right? He's not going to have to. You can't have your linebacker with his back to the quarterback running this way, and then not have this guy looking at the quarterback, right?
Yep. Okay. Well, that's all I really had on that one. Unless you had something, I just saw him take off for a long run. And it happens. We'll have some other things. But this is a good angle for you to see number 2 and number 24. And 78 all stacked. Anyway, they're all 3 right in the screen for you. It's interesting. And we'll talk more about that defensive line a little bit later. So you can go to play 2 if you want. This next one is not necessarily how they covered up. I thought that from the back end, you probably can see this better, and then maybe we'll come back to the wide end. So they're running a.
Yeah, I don't know that I like this tight front against this this surface here. I mean, I understand that these 2 guys are here receivers, but you got 4 eyes in here. Yeah, they're trying to close the B gaps. He's responsible kind of for both A's, and then you got athletic linebackers. Now, I say I don't like it, but that's because my players are not Georgia caliber players. We can't really get into a tight front or mid, and then
that's right. But look what they do, though. And then when we're saying that, you might not like it, but watch how it actually pans out. So the nose and the left, they slide to the right. Guy loops around. The other 4 eye actually loops around. Kind of hits it late. I don't know why he waited late to go. So the thing I wanted to point out really about that is that our offensive line did really good. If you remember from the last film we showed, if you could go back and watch it, we watched how all of our linemen actually passed things off. So we didn't have free rushers like this. So I'm looking forward to them being ready for this. I think they're exposed a little bit because you see the aggressiveness of Starks, number 24, jump up. If this is.
But look at this. I mean, it's probably a hold, and that might be where the flag came in. I'm not sure. But 2 here, like stepping up and then just somehow being able to catch this receiver and then and then run with him. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you're right. He's holding, but it shows his athletic ability, and that's another one why I was pointing out that's. I mean, he's right. He ends up right back on top of the dude where he's supposed to be. So it's really there's 2 pieces of that, right? For me, one, we're going to have to be good at picking up their line stunts because they run a lot of that, which you can see in these next few plays. But then I see some vulnerabilities that if we're patient, like we were seeing before last week with DeBoer and his offense, he's probably telling him you're going to see some of this stuff and some things are probably going to pop open. Where Milroe might be able to catch some intermediate throws. I think he's going to have to throw intermediate passes to beat them. Okay. Is this the next play?
Yes, this is the next play.
Okay. Why I chose this is really because of what they did at the top. So
actually, I think I chose this one.
We both pick it. See, our eyes are very similar. So if you want to talk about your points, but mine was I'll let you talk about your points first.
Yeah, so I was looking at this because I was keying. Where's my circle tool here? I was keying this guy right here because this is a formation that is not unique to Kentucky. We do this kind of stuff all the time, right? And we're gonna send this guy across and maybe kick somebody out. It's kind of a split zone look. I don't know if this play is actually split zone or not, but the point is, this dude is actually just gonna chase the tight end, and you're gonna find that he is behind the line of scrimmage, untouched, just waiting for you to do something.
Yeah. See.
And your first thought is, oh well, then you just, this is an easy pull for
you pull it. But no, that is
right,
not true.
because then he's coming out here. And then you got another dude that pops up off the screen, and this is, to me, I watched this and I was like, this is terrifying. If this is the look that you're gonna get with a wing in the game, where you have this, that's not going anywhere.
And it doesn't. And that's what I'm saying. That's pretty stinking good. I'm glad we're on the same page with that, because when I saw number 8 show up, and I mean, there's no way Milroe can pull it, because that is a pull read. So let me back up, because JT was talking about split zone. So some of y'all might not understand what he's talking about when he's saying that. The lineman would go.
Well, actually, it's a counter.
It's a counter, yes. But for their purposes of knowing what it was, typically the linemen, if you're looking at the screen, they would all go to our left, to their right, and then the wing back, who JT circled at the beginning, would go behind them and kick, and then hand the running back the ball in the same sense where he can look to cut back. That's split zone. All right, make sure you put that in the notes, because someone might be looking up split zone. But anyway, that's not what it is. So this is a very good play. This is where you just have to be patient and you say, hey, man, they got us that. Because if I'm the quarterback, you're going to pull it, but there's going to be 2 guys standing right there, and everybody's going to be screaming, what the heck? Why didn't he give it? And he gave it, and it still didn't matter. Okay. All right. Next play it is. All right. So I put this on here mainly because I wanted you to see how the safety at the top played. So looks like a quarter safety following the motion, but he pulls off and he cuts off this dig. This is, I'm saying, it's high level. It's like they just kind of knew what he was going to be running. Now, at the same time, there's a lot of green space there, JT, for that guy that comes in motion. And this is why I think that he has to sit. Does he run it? Yes. Does he run a arrow back in, run away from the corner? Because there's just a lot of space. And you got to find that. And he actually has time to throw the ball.
Yeah, and they're green dogging too. So with who's that? That's number 2, I guess.
Yes.
And this guy. So all right, well, I ain't got no work, so I'm gonna go pressure. There's a lot of 3-man routes though. So I mean, clearly they were getting pressured a lot, right? Because they're leaving guys in the block, the tight ends in here to block, the backs in the block, and they're just gonna run a 3-man route. So I mean, that's max protection, right? That's 7 guys. One's got to throw the ball, and the other 3 are in a route.
Yeah, and maybe you see something totally different. The thing about it is, why this is so interesting to me is that both teams have had 2 weeks to prepare. So everything that we're talking about is probably going to be in play, but I promise you they got some other wrinkles somewhere, whether it's on offense or defense, right? The other part of that is a lot of the throws that they completed were like these intermediate throws. So Milroe has to be accurate on these passes. You can't be late. You got to get it out of your hand and take those comeback shots, just like we just saw. What's up, Monica? Good to see you, fam. Okay. All right. We can JT, I want you to know she was roasting you a little bit last time too. She didn't want me to tell you, but I'm talking about it on the air while she was down here.
For what?
She came after you. So That's your people.
That's not nice. That's not nice. I'm gonna stop showing your comments on the screen when you get in here.
Oh gosh, you crazy. Okay. All right. So
Oh, is this the top? I think we're back at the top.
uh this
Oh,
is
no.
so this is one of Alabama's favorite plays. I wanted this in here just because again, it's just I feel like Jalen Milroe, this is gonna be on his back and this is we run this. How many times have we seen this? He's taking it for touchdowns. It's the same, it could be a pass, it could be a run. But I just think we're going to see some of this, and Jalen Milroe is going to run the ball off this action. So you get a lot of eye candy, motions. It's two guys going to the right. I don't know if you guys understand that. So the first guy goes in motion to the right. Then you got that wing back who basically trails him as like a second puller. And then you got Milroe potentially with the ball, or he can dump it to that guy. So I just think we're going to see this, especially if they're trying to blitz like this. So they didn't run any stunts, but they did blitz the backer. This just film study and trying to figure out when that's going to happen. So you make the play call. It's going to be a good chess match, man. God, man, this is going to be a good game. Okay, is this the last one?
Yeah, this is the last one. This is one that I put in here because it just happens to be unbalanced where this guy is not eligible and that guy would be, but I think there are a number of restrictions in college, so he's probably not actually eligible. But the point is, we kind of see the same. We see the same thing here with the defensive end and the split zone kind of look where he goes inside and 11 here is not, he's on this side. He's kind of just not worried about this tight end.
No.
His job clearly was take the dive. And you see that same look where the linebacker is going to sit out here for the read. He's taking the dive, and then we've got somebody else out here. And this ends up going for, this says, a gain of 15. But by the skin of its teeth, because if 11 just keeps running down here like he was probably supposed to and not worry about this guy flashing in front of him, this goes for a loss again. So
got to get little.
I think Alabama's going to have to figure this one out on like what they're going to do to get this guy off the dive. And if they do decide to kick out number 3, like Milroe, if they decide to kick out here, he's going to go and pull it. Milroe's going to have to duck it inside, and he's going to have to make a guy miss. And that guy's very athletic. That's probably not a guy that I want my quarterback running, trying to make miss in a phone booth.
Yep. So what he's saying to everybody is really, we got to be patient as fans and watching this and understand that this defense can be built to try to stop Milroe from running the ball. So there got to be some kind of adjustment, when you have this kind of stuff. How do you get back to the other side with Milroe? Are you booting some kind of way? Is this just play action where you actually take a shot somewhere? Because 24 is still relatively close to the line. The guy back there who's trying to read, run, which he gets down in there. I mean, he makes a tackle, but the guy's pretty doggone aggressive. And somehow we're going to have to take a shot over the top. I don't remember what the back end looked like. If you can get a post over this guy's head.
You have to get it out quick, though.
They're closing.
Michael Kim asked any concerns about Hurricane Helene. I looked at the map today. It seems like the model has it making it to Tennessee before the game starts, and it also has it missing Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Supposed to rain there on Friday. We'd be cleared out on Saturday night, as you're saying. So not right now. keep the field together and not have it too slippery or wet for our backs to cut. So our backs are going to have to, they're going to have to fight for some yardage. That's what I was talking about Jalen Milroe and how important this is for him, that he has to have a solid game with his legs, but he also got to have a solid game running or throwing the ball, hitting those intermediate routes, because if they are bringing pressure, it could, mean he's got to have to lean on his arm a little bit more. And I do anticipate that. I do think there's going to be a lot of design quarterback runs based on what I'm, seeing here, what Kentucky's doing, and we're a little bit more athletic. But if they're doing what JT's so greatly pointed out with, crashing on Jam Miller or whatever running back, and then having two overhangs essentially to try to get Milroe, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking, like, as a defense coordinator myself, I always think, like, okay, what do I want my ends to do? Do I want my ends to take the dive, or do I want my ends to play the quarterback, right? And you usually figure that out by saying, who do you want carrying the ball? You want the running back carrying the ball, or do you want the quarterback carrying the ball? Now, when you're playing Kentucky, the answer is obvious. Make the quarterback carry the ball. The answer is less obvious, I think, with Alabama, because you could say, let's just tackle the running back. We're gonna have it be a give read every time. Give it to Jam Miller. It's kind of, I think Alabama's kind of sitting and saying, pick your poison. Whereas Georgia might be saying, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna hit the ball away from Jam Miller and make Milroe carry the ball. Not because they're not afraid of Milroe, but just because in those kind of situations where it's a read, they can say, hey, we can start putting hits on Milroe all game. Like, he's going to have to feel the presence of somebody in his face. He's not going to be able to just pull the ball and run for 40 yards anymore. And, body shots over the course of an hour of game time is could be a little problematic.
Yep. So my prediction is first half we're a little bit slower, maybe on the scoring. It's kind of been our deal so they can kind of figure out what they're doing on defense, make some great halftime adjustments, and switch up that running game. I don't think they show too much too fast because Kirby Smart's a great defensive mind as well. Okay, what is that question?
What problems do we face being that we basically have a man-to-man defense? I don't know that it's man-to-man. I think we still pattern match a lot, whether it's man match or zone match. I think we probably zone match. I don't know that for sure. But the problem that you have anytime that you're going to either play man-to-man or pattern match is that you're going to get a lot of you're going to get a lot of one-on-one matchups. The benefit of pattern matching is that the guy who is in the best position, granted, you have to run it correctly, but the guy who has the best position and leverage is the guy who's going to take the route. But you still have the issue of it's one-on-one. And if my guy is better than your guy, you lose.
All right, so let me tease it this way. As an excellent question. Thank you for doing that. Make sure you guys stick your questions in there.